It's on you, brother.
I want to talk about radio for a minute and how radio mixes in with this. Commercial radio is what I'm talking about. You know, commercial radio and independent labels have had a tumultuous relationship over the past couple of years, and there's a reason for that, but it is not the reason that you think it is. So I want to throw y'all some gym cards real quick, and I want y'all to pay attention to what I'm saying, because each and every one of y'all that is trying to form an independent label are going to have to deal with radio one way or the other at some point. I want y'all to know what you're dealing with, and I want you to know why things are the way they are and why independent labels have such an uphill battle in dealing with commercial radio. You know what I'm saying? We family, we gonna talk. I'm gonna put y'all on to some G right now. Pay attention. First of all, if you think for a split second that an independent label has the same footing nor the same attention from commercial radio that major labels have, you're sadly mistaken. First of all, most commercial radio nowadays is owned by major corporations. It is not like back in the day when you had mom and pop operations that owned radio stations and had program directors that had absolute freedom to play whatever they wanted to play, how much they wanted to play it, and do basically what they wanted to do. The role of program director, and I am a program director, I was just made program director last year, okay? After working at my radio station some 14 years, okay? Check it out. It is not the same game that it used to be, because now the role of program director and music director, for that matter, has been reduced to glorified secretary. That's what we are. Now let me explain why. When you have corporations that are in bed together, major labels and these major corporations that own almost all the radio stations that you will be dealing with, you are going to have a hard way to go. That is for the simple fact, the plainest I can make it is that major labels are going to get the first right of refusal for those limited slots. For those of you all who don't know how radio programming operates, and all radio stations operate essentially under a universal system, and that system is, I have was 27, now it's 23. I have 23 available rotation slots at any given time. Those 23 slots are broken up amongst categories. My highest profile category will be my power category. At my particular station, I have 7 records in that category. At my particular station, these records rotate every hour and 35 minutes. That means that if you listen to my radio station straight, you're going to hear Got Money by Lil Wayne every hour and 35 minutes. That is for a reason. I'll get to that reason in 1 second. Then after that, you have your subcategory, then you have your mediums, then you have your lights, then you have your news. This is how you break up your records. There are limited slots for rotation. Now, for what everybody in here is seeking, rotation means exposure. The more a radio station plays your record, the more exposure that it gets, the more likely your chance of impressing the consumer to want to go out and buy your record. That is all it given. Immediately, like right now, all the major labels that I deal with on an everyday basis, Warner Brothers, you know what I'm saying, Island Def Jam, Atlantic, J Records, all of these labels basically have promotion people in place that it is their job to be in my ear every single day and say, we got this joint, we got this joint, we got this joint. And you know the names they're giving me? We got this new Jay-Z joint. We got this Usher joint. We got this Kanye joint. Now, as a program director, I have to sit back for my own job stability and analyze, okay, what are going to be the strongest records that I can expose my audience to? Because in Norfolk, I'm in a direct war with now granted, I don't have another straight up urban station going against me, but I do have a rhythmic CHR station, which is basically urban radio with white boy jocks. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what I'm dealing with. So because of that, I'm in a war. That means that every time I have a listener punch out from my radio station, that's detrimental to me because they have a choice. All right? So that puts me in a situation. First, I'm dealing with the fact that I have to deal with these major labels because quite frankly, major labels and commercial radio do work hand in hand, and it's not the old days of the, okay, major labels just be sending $1,000 envelopes to the program director and that's how they get on. Nah, those days are dead. Mark Spitzer deaded that. Trust. And if anybody who knows the business, y'all know what I'm talking about. Mark Spitzer, the one that got caught out there cheating on his wife and all like that. Before he became governor, he actually... Elliot, I'm sorry. Thank you, brother. Thank you correctly. Yeah, I'm bad. Thank you, brother. Elliot Spitzer, the governor, the crooked governor. Before he became governor, part of his political platform was he was going to clean up the radio industry. And so what he did was he gave major headaches to both the record labels and radio corporations. And that now, if I say I want to bring Kanye to my market for a show, we have to go through all of this paperwork that dictates that we're not going to give them extra spins in exchange for this, et cetera, et cetera. Long story short, it made the game very complicated. But nonetheless, in dealing with that, you know what I'm saying, that's what I have to deal with up front. But at the same time, I can call Def Jam and I could say, you know what, I need 1,000 t-shirts. I don't say I'm going to give you spins in exchange for these 1,000 t-shirts. I say I need 1,000 t-shirts. And guess what? Def Jam going to send them to me. Okay? That's one level that, you know, that they have why they get first right of refusal. Please remember, it's not personal, it's a business, and I work for a corporation. Corporations is about the bottom line. They don't care about artistry, they don't care about creative integrity, they care about the bottom line. That's what it's all about. So please keep that in mind as we proceed. So now I have to determine what are the strongest records that I'm going to put in these slots. Now, in my market, you know, in the 757, there are a lot of up-and-coming independent acts. For God's sakes, we are the home of Pharrell and Missy and Timbaland. You know, all of them are from right there, you know what I'm saying, in our hood. And amazingly, for whatever reason, in my particular market, they kind of blew up out of nowhere. I was talking to my man Double XL earlier, he pointed something out, you know what I'm saying? We basically saw the clips, videos, the same time Cats in California saw them. You know what I'm saying? We basically got up on the clips like the same time the rest of the country did, because, and that's no disrespect to Malice and Pusha, those are my people, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, they were kind of grandfathered in. There's not really a strong street level support system. Now, I come to the point, as a program director, what I have to look at is, I want to support local artists, and I want to give them exposure, because anybody who's done the research in the business knows spins are important if you're courting a major label deal, or if you're trying to take your independent to the next level to be able to get that distribution deal that you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Spins, radio spins are important. Program directors and music directors have basically been labeled the Antichrist, because why is it that we as independent artists have such a hard time getting these spins? That is why. It is because the slots that you seek are spoken for. In other words, you're beaten almost before you get in the game. That is real. Now, again, those of y'all who don't know my background, I've been with my current radio station since 1992. I came up in Mix Show, the Buddha Brothers. You know what I'm saying? We did, you know, I started Weekend Mix Show where I was all about breaking independent records. That is what I did. That is how I made my bones. That is how I made my rep in my city. You know what I'm saying? So I still have love for that movement. Once I became a program director, now they moved me to the next level where I have to deal with these corporate cats and their blueprint for what they think is going to bring them the most money. And the corporate blueprint dictates that Kanye is going to make them more money than this independent artist right here. Therefore the independent artist is deliberately squeezed out, and that is sad, and that is unfortunate. And you know what? I could be the cat to lead the revolution and say, yo, damn that. I'm gonna play independent records all day, because I believe that's because to me, and I mean this from the heart, independent records, what y'all do, y'all are the lifeline of hip hop.
Okay, so check this out.
That's right.
I'm